All right, back with you on the Bronx Buzz. It is always a joy and a pleasure to bring in a friend, but also one of the Bronx's foremost artists and painters. It is my good friend Danny Hauben. Nice to have you with us, Danny.
Oh, thanks for having me back. Pleasure to be here.
And he is, as you can see in the background there, he's calling right from his studio in the North Bronx. Hard at work on this, that, or the other. But the big thing coming up, or it's actually already up, is The Other Side of Summer, which is a gallery exhibit by 6 artists. One of them is you at
Hmm.
the Riverdale Y, the gallery at the Y. So let's talk now. The opening reception is already over, but let's
Yes.
talk about the exhibit in general, and then we'll talk about your great work.
So George Gutierrez is the new curator, and he's an old friend of mine. He's the new curator of Gallery 18 at the Y, and he has brought together 6 artists who all do representational work. One is a photographer. One is a sculptor who actually is less representational, but it's all under the guise of that theme of summer, and in my case, it's summer represented by scenes of New York, of the Bronx, mostly. And George is a photographer and a visual artist, and is looking to kind of elevate the scene there at the gallery, and I think he's done a wonderful job putting this work together. I recommend people come see it. It's open, regular Y hours, so
Right.
it'll be lots
And
of
then
opportunity for people to see
it's
the
over
work.
there at on 5625 Arlington Avenue.
Yeah.
Danny, is there a theme for you? Summertime was really the theme. I mean, you have so much
Yeah,
to do.
so I mean, a lot of my work was created during the months when it's most conducive to work
Which would
outside.
be the
So,
summer, yeah.
which would be the summer. I have spent many a summer, traversing the Bronx and finding wonderful locations to work in. So this piece, this was done. In the lead up to my Bronx Community College commission.
Oh,
This
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, because I was exploring the neighborhood around there,
So wait, that
including
is that is Burnside
that's
Avenue.
Burnside. Yeah, so
Right.
if you follow Burnside up the hill to University, you'll hit the college pretty close by.
Y-
So
y-
that's how I discovered that location.
You have done so many Bronx scenes like this. Was there anything in particular about this that was striking or
Well,
interesting,
yeah,
or it's
it
more
had
of the same?
no. Well, there's no such thing as more of the same, as you know. The
Sorry,
Bronx is
sorry.
endlessly fascinating, and there's always new, possibilities to explore and discover. And in this case, this scene had all of the ingredients in terms of, the like, park life in the Bronx is essential to people, many people's lives, and this has got it going on, with the dappled shade coming down and the people playing chess or checkers, but then, so I started on the right-hand side, which was the street scene part, and then I realized the park itself needed to be included. And this often happens with my work, that I
Mhm.
wind up coming back with a second panel
Do
and
you? I'm just
doing a
curious
larger
about
piece.
that. Do you when you do that, when you do those sectional things, do you do them in your studio, like you take a mental picture or maybe take a photograph, or each time do you go back out there to look at it live?
No, no, I'm working. That piece is just about entirely created on
Wow,
location. So, in order to do a piece
amazing.
that's 5 feet wide, or I don't know, forget the size, but so that required actually. I think I brought 2 easels out there. I had it
Wow.
all connected up. I become like part of the phenomenon, part of the scene, as soon as I
Which
show up,
right,
which is
which probably goes
always
back to
fun.
that book photography and artist thing of taking pictures of the artists doing the
artists
work out
on
there.
location, and
That's
unfortunately, most artists don't get the exposure that I've gotten exposing myself, so to speak,
yeah.
to the public by being right out there in the scene. I haven't done it in a while, but when we talk about it, it gets me thinking about that. That's just been one of my favorite experiences ever, is painting out on location, meeting people, connecting, feeling, breathing having the work, the life around me come through the artwork.
I was going to say, there's no question that it infiltrates and it
Hope
becomes part of
so,
the work.
yeah.
All right, let's take another look. Anderson has a bunch of your now these are all ones that are
So
on
these
display.
what's on display are these. These are reproductions, are the museum quality Giclée reproductions. I'm happy to report that last one, the 2-panel piece, was sold at the opening, so that was cool.
Oh, that's nice.
So people should clamber to get over there to see what else is still available.
Now,
but
and that one that we just looked at was Manhattan.
That was the one Manhattan piece, but since it's a real summer kind of a feel, being down in Columbus Circle, and right. I like scenes that have all like kind of the what's in your face in the foreground, and then looking down the canyon of the road, the street, and having that. Getting the atmosphere, both the close-up and the bigger picture of the urban life.
I'm going to assert, having looked at your artwork and enjoyed your artwork for years, that there's always more to see. As you say, there's something that's in your face, but then ultimately it is, and that of course characterizes our very populous borough of the Bronx. All right, what do we got next?
Indeed.
There's one that I'm waiting for. This is the one.
Okay, all right. So this is up on Bailey Avenue, looking north along this is called Harlem River Bend, and that's a great view. I just love that whole area, looking both that way and then looking south, from the Target parking lot down the Harlem River towards Manhattan. Amazing views that, what I just felt, it was so unfortunate they put up Target there with no windows, but at least they got the parking lot where they have never.
That's right. You
could paint from. We could look at the scene, and we need. Yeah, go ahead.
What I like about that, and it really reflects what we were just talking about a moment ago, is that, okay, so there's the river and the bridge, but then there's more to see, because if you look at what it looks like in real life, is the roadway down the hill. There's a little green patch over there. I mean, it's just, and I think we all have appreciated for many years that you've been able to capture that. Do you remember? I got to do a little trivia before we go into the next one.
Okay.
Do you recall that years ago, I probably should pull up the picture somewhere, we used one of your paintings as the backdrop for Bronx Talk?
Absolutely.
Years ago. Wow.
Yeah.
I thought of it as we knew you were coming up.
Yeah. So, they talk about the detail, that's, to me, that's what's interesting, is the specificity. And, people, especially, when you live in an environment that's so busy and so much, going on, like we are absorbing what our environment looks like, but we're not necessarily retaining that or processing or even aware of
or
it.
Noticing it.
Noticing it,
right.
So, I can't tell you how many times I was painting out on location and somebody told me, I pass this scene like every day, and somehow I never looked at it before. So I always, I appreciate that, I can play a little role there in saying, look, this is what it is, and there's beauty there as well.
I was going to say, let's appreciate it.
That's what I've always, that's my inclination, is towards the beauty.
Well, or towards letting us understand underneath what you might be thinking about, there is
Yeah,
something worth
no,
representing.
absolutely.
I think we've got one more. And these are all part of what's on this. Oh,
Yeah,
this
these are also
boy,
there's a big
everybody in the Bronx loves this one. Go ahead.
there's a big reproduction of this one in the show, and this actually, what everything I paint becomes like this historical document because things change. So that scene of Gun Hill and White Plains Road, it doesn't look like that anymore because
Oh,
they
really?
built that like glassed-in station underneath there.
That's right. Well, that's
So
an
but
ADA compliance thing. I'm guessing
whatever
with
I
an
you know
elevator and
what I
escalator.
don't yeah exactly, which is
Yeah.
all well and good, but no longer has this, the thing that drew me to it, which was this kind of shadow and light play underneath, that was, I found, just compelling.
So it's the other side of summer at the Gallery 18 at the Riverdale Y, and that goes on until September 7th. So there's plenty of times to stop by and check it out. And listen, we singled out Danny because he was easy to get to and we know him. But let's recognize Jose Antonio Arvelo, Jerry Gallo, George Gutierrez, Robert Silverman, and Daniel Van Ben. Thuisen, I think is how it's pronounced, because they are the other artists who are being represented. Danny, what are you working on now, and what's next? We only got about 35
Mm.
seconds.
Yeah, no, I've been doing one piece the whole during all of COVID. Somehow it's made me more compulsive than ever. So stay tuned. It's,
All
maybe
right.
we can focus on that, and it really focused on my imagination
Uh
more
oh.
than anything else.
That may be
Watch
that may
out.
be scariest of all.
Watch out. Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, Danny Hauben, DanielHauben.com is the website, and certainly check out his artwork. It is wonderful artwork, and it represents our borough. It gives us a chance to see us, even though they're common scenes in ways maybe we never saw it before. And Danny, we certainly appreciate it. Do you have any other galleries or anything else set up that we should know about coming up, or not yet?
No, actually. So, all you gallerists out there, I'm up for grabs. Okay.
Pick up the phone. And
Pick
there's
up the phone.
there's a tremendous archive of Daniel Hauben photos, excuse me, paintings. And as he knows, I have two hanging in my bedroom. So it's essentially the first thing I see every morning is
All right.
that scene
Well,
from the number 4 train that you did.
cool.
So
Well, thank you
anyway,
so
Danny
much,
Hauben,
Gary.
thank you
This
so
is a great
much.
pleasure for me.
It's always
Okay.
great for me too. Folks, that will do it for our Bronx Buzz for this evening. Thanks to Ethan Stark Miller, who had never been on before, and he was our first guest this evening. And of course, to Danny Hauben for his great talent and great work. And please, I got it right here. Get up to the Gallery 18 at the Y on Arlington Avenue, and let's keep buzzing about the Bronx on the Bronx Buzz. So you know what happens. We'll see you next week. Good night.